Mastering PvP in Escape from Tarkov is brutal, and sometimes it feels like even when you're getting better, you're still dying all the time, or it feels like you're moving backwards just as much as you're moving forwards. In this kind of special episode of Lessons from Beyond the Grave, we're breaking down one longer fight, one of the most fun fights I have been in Escape from Tarkov recently, and we're going to talk about how it all went down. I'm Jessekazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. If you like this video, think about dropping a like or commenting down below. That stuff helps me out a ton. And I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. My links will be down below. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So, like we said, this was one of the most fun fights I've been in a long time. I got to use a lot of skills, positioning, point firing, aiming, grenades, and I ultimately still ended up losing this fight. But these are the fights why I play Escape from Tarkov. Fights in not normal places with an unknown amount of enemies, eliminating them, feeling like I get to use good skills and use my skill well. But in this case, I ultimately ended up dying. And even though I was so frustrated and so heartbroken, this fight has stuck with me as some of the most fun I've had in Tarkov recently. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about earlier, where sometimes it feels like even when you're getting better at Tarkov, you're still dying, or you're still kind of going backwards and forwards. And as we break down this fight, we'll see that in, a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have died to the very first guy immediately. And so dying doesn't always mean you're not getting better. It means that you're progressing. Maybe you've killed one of the group instead of dying immediately. Maybe you killed two of them. Maybe you kill three of them. And it's all pushing you towards being a better player. So we'll go ahead and watch this fight and then kind of go back and break it down.
But this one's much more simple and less made up. And like, actually,
oh my freaking!
Dead! No!
Are you really dead?
Yes. I died in a bush.
Is it
Back
to
at the gazebo.
Was it to a PMC or a scav?
Guarantee that was a PMC. It was a PMC.
It is multiple PMCs.
You need to be worried about Bear.
Jesus! Oh my God, bro! As you can tell, I was so heartbroken about that. That was a brutal, brutal way to end this amazing fight. And there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of subtleties to the fight, a lot of things I did well, a lot of missed opportunities. And I don't want this to sound like we're making too much out of nothing, but this is exactly how, at least in my experience, I have gotten better at the game, is by analyzing fights like this and figuring out what went wrong. So like we said, there's actually tons of things as I watch this back that I see that I'm really proud that I did, and tons of missed opportunities to eliminate some of these guys earlier. So It starts off, my friend just gets absolutely sniped, wrecked. We're not sure exactly how many. I have had plenty of opportunities where I didn't realize sniper scav was up there. So I asked him, is it a scav or a PMC? Because I think we only heard one gun at the beginning. And I was like, man, if sniper scav was up there and we didn't know and he killed us, that would be really annoying. The grenades go off. He says it's a PMC. There's a lot of little places they could be, so I'm not overly concerned with peeking and like actually identifying where they are unless they're like running around. My thought is I went in here for cover so I could heal up and get to cover. Once the grenades start flying in, I've got to go. I'm assuming that if it's, I don't know how many there is at this point, maybe one or two, that they're going to continue to huck those nades. And if they land one inside here, I'm dead, because it'll either blow up in here, or because he's thrown the grenade, and then if he got a good grenade inside, he'd be holding the door at the ready. I'm assuming he's going to be throwing more grenades, so I'm hoping to catch him in a grenade animation and try and get to cover. So we push out, and here's where we start hearing multiple gunshots. I get super lucky, and I push back here. Now, my concern is, one of the things that would have turned this fight around for sure is if I could have pushed back farther. There's like a little bit of a hill behind me, and if I could have gotten to the other side of that hill, I had a lot more shoreline real estate to flank these guys, to reposition, to get longer snipes. The problem is that now that I've identified that there's more than one, and they took out my buddy from a distance, I don't know if I can get to cover without getting sniped. And I know I've got hard cover here, so I'm kind of just leaning into this and using the cover that I have. I start hearing people run around. I'm trying to figure out if they're pushing left or right or both, which is what I'm concerned about, because I know that there's more than one. And instead of tap sprinting or sprinting around, this is something that I do all the time that's not good, and I see a lot of people do, is you see the top players in Tarkov, sprinting everywhere, and they are baked in on when to stop that sprint so that their gun is up by the time they need it. And a lot of times players that aren't those top tier guys, including myself, will try to use those tap sprints to move around, and oftentimes get caught with our gun in the low ready position because we're running. So instead of tap sprinting around, I'm just walking around this corner, and this was one of my proudest point fire kills ever. He obviously gets first look at me, right? Like, yeah, you can't really say peeker's advantage or desync or anything here, because we're both moving guns at the ready and we're both walking slowly. So there's not like a huge peeker's advantage. He obviously sees me first. Look how wide he is before I see him, and I snap to him, and right into the face shield, we drop this dude. So this is what we're talking about in a ton of other videos, where like mastering skills like point fire are going to help you in situations like this. It's not perfect for every situation, but I was able to react and snap to this guy. And of course, I don't hit these shots all the time, but the practice, the work that I've put in, I've got my gun head height ready to rumble, and boom, I take him out. So that was a great kill. I immediately kind of whiff an opportunity here on this guy. So I had a pretty decent amount of cover. I've got sandbags to the left. I've got, barrels in front of me, and this guy's in a sprint. I should have slowed down. I should have stopped, and I should have taken my time to potentially take out this guy. But I was worried about, which I don't know if you've seen it right here, this guy who I didn't actually see initially during the fight. I was very much so focused on this, but I was concerned that there was a guy sniping. So I kind of kept up the little AD strafe. I, stopped for a little bit there, and I kind of missed an opportunity with this guy. I don't think I shouldn't have taken those shots. I think it was worth spraying at him, because if I dropped that guy, that would have put me in a much better position. But given that that is right at the start of the dangerous range with this gun, with the AKM, the AK-103, 66 vertical recoil, it's really hard to maintain control at that distance. Some single taps there might have netted me the kill, or at least hurt him a little bit more. And I didn't even see this guy, so I got super lucky by just rotating back to cover, going for the reload, and not getting killed. I'm kind of waiting for this guy to peek this corner, just hoping, because I wasn't sure if he was on the back or the front side of the fence, but I'm just waiting for him to peek this corner. And then I start to hear people inside. I really thought that they were, at least one of them was inside, either going for a repack, a heal, or something. So I kind of wanted to push him out of there. and I'm hearing people just left and right. I'm really, like I said, I'm really pinned in here. Once again, this little lull, I kill the first guy, I shoot at the second guy. This second guy's not immediately re-peeking. This would have been a great opportunity to bail backwards. That's what I would have loved to do in this fight. Once again, though, I'm concerned about this guy. I peek again, and as you can see, this guy is still up there. He's still up there laying prone. He didn't shoot at me right here, but I'm super scared of this. Now, I could have potentially ran up this hill and just used the tree as cover, hoped that they didn't see me. And to be honest with you, if we're hypercritical, I probably should have. I really wanted to eliminate these guys. I really wanted to stay in the fight, and I was really scared about getting sniped and giving up the only hard cover I had. I made the choice to just try and take these guys one by one. But at the end of the day, pushing back would have given me more options. It doesn't mean I would have had to leave the fight. It would have just given me more options. And then I peek wide here. So this is when I'm like, okay, well, like we said, I haven't seen that guy up on that hill yet because I was focused on the other guys. So this is my, okay, I'm going to make a rotate here. I'm going to make a move. I want to kill one of these guys. So I go a wide peek. I'm thinking this guy's either around this corner or behind the fence. And we immediately get shot at by the guy up top there. Luckily, he doesn't headshot us or drop us. And that was huge that I lived there. And that second right there is what solidified me not moving from this position. Because once again, even there, even on that third peak of that corner, I still haven't seen that guy because I know for a fact that there are guys close. I didn't know that guy there. So all of my attention is close on ground level with me, trying to figure out if this guy's going to peek me again. I had no idea that guy was up there, and that for sure solidified that I did not want to do this anymore. Now, of course, when we're watching it back, hindsight's 2020, we can see this guy all 3 times I peek, but that was just, to me, like, I have to hold this position. I'm super scared of getting sniped. This right here, this instinct was another interesting play. I come around here more to get cover from that sniper because I'm trying to figure out in my head where that audio came from, where that sniper could be. And I didn't realize this guy was going to be peeking around this corner. I didn't hear this guy. This guy looks like a lot less geared than the other guys I'd seen, so I'm confused as to where this guy even came from. And my reaction here was spot on. I was proud of this. Instead of trying to kill him, because I did not expect him peeking that corner, and he expected me to be somewhere around there, I mouse one to shoot while I was just ripping into cover. That's all I cared about, was getting into cover. And I actually hit him with one of those shots. So as you can see, if I had stayed out there, peeked any longer, I probably would have died. I was super hurt at this point. I already had a broken arm. And there's this, like I said, we're not trying to make too much out of nothing, but stuff like this is really what turns fights. Stuff like this is really what some of the best kind of players do that I've been working on doing. And it's that survival is important, getting to cover and understanding who has the advantage. Right now, all I'm thinking about is that sniper. I didn't hear this guy. He kind of zips around this corner, arms up, ready to go. If I had stayed peeked out any longer, I would have died. So I mouse one out of reaction. I ended up getting a lucky hit on the guy, but getting to cover was important here. I re-peek because I heard that I hit him. So I was hoping that maybe if he was either going for a heal or he was going to go and then re-peek, like this subtle re-peek now puts me in control because I peeked it again. He's not out. Now I'm ADSing, and if he walks around this corner, he's going to die. But I quickly decide that healing was more important. The ETG stim is awesome. Great for fights like this. I'm just like super duper healing up. I really don't have time to heal my arm, my blacked arm, or at least I don't think I do. And so I just kind of wait here and see if I can pick up an easy kill. Now this is another missed opportunity. So this guy, this slippery guy that ends up killing me, I missed 3 opportunities on him. The first one was when I peeked and was getting sniped at, and I had potentially gone for the single taps. I could have got him. This was the second missed opportunity. I see this guy's gun peek out. I think he's going to peek. I make the great call to pre-fire this, and the recoil of my gun, I do not manage it well, and it pulls me right over his head. This was absolutely an instant kill on this guy if I had managed my recoil better and been head height. This guy peeks into my pre-fire perfectly. and it scares him. He doesn't hurt me there. He immediately, goes back behind cover. So it bought me extra time in the fight. But if I had had my recoil in a better position, this would have been an instant kill on the other thick boy. And this was the guy that I believe ended up killing me. And you can see that bop right over his head. And he peeks just long enough to get 1 or 2 shots. 7.62 BP would have penned that face shield, and I would have had that guy. So I was super frustrated about that, and I didn't want to just wait because I doubted that he was going to give me that opportunity again. We're just kind of bobbing back and forth. I'm still getting sniped from that guy. I still don't know exactly how many there are, and that information is what kind of paralyzes me, because if I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a flank, I'm going to make a play, I'm going to back off, I'm so unaware of how many there are. I've killed 1 at this point. I've seen at least 3. I know there's a guy up there sniping. There can be at least 5 in a group. And the only thing I know for sure is that currently this is giving me cover. So I just kind of keep at it, back and forth, trying to figure out what the best thing to do here. I peek again on this left side. This time a little bit more ready, knowing that there's at least 2 guys on the other side here, and get the drop on this guy. This is where that recoil actually worked for me. I was aiming center mass, and the recoil brought me right up to his head. Boom, instant kill that guy. So now I know that there's another guy close. I'm not sure if this guy is the sniper who was farther back and then moved up. I don't know if I re-peek this, if the sniper's still there and he's going to kill me as soon as I peek. So I kind of sit here. I even taunt at him. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to get some audio to hear what's going on. Once again, this exact silence is another crucial moment where I could have potentially fallen back, repositioned to another area. And who knows if that would have ended up winning me the fight. It's what I would have liked to have done, but I was paralyzed by the fact that I didn't know how many there were. I knew I had cover right here, and I didn't want this fight to end with me getting sniped, making a wrong call. I see this guy come around here. I thought I had good shots on him here, potentially, but it either ricocheted or I didn't hit the shot. I thought he was going to peek, continue behind these tires. That makes me think that I hit him because he was, kind of hardcore moving left to right. And I thought he was just going to continue. So I'm just like holding mouse 1, hoping that he continues to peek around there. I'm peeking wide. He goes for the re-peek. And this very unfortunate bush placement means that I don't get to see where I'm shooting briefly. So I go, okay, well, I need to get back to cover here. This isn't a good idea. At this point, I'm very aware that I'm low on ammo and I need to kill this guy because the sniper might still be there. But at least if I kill this guy, that's all the guys close to me and I can repack some mags. And then here's where I make my last absolute gut-wrenching mistake with this guy. And that's exactly what we talked about earlier. There was no need for me to sprint here if I was just going to go for a reload. Right here, I have 2 decisions. I have 2 options. I get behind cover and I can sprint around the corner of this building and hopefully get him before he gets around that corner, or I need to slow down and hold my ground here because I tried to do both and that ended up ruining this fight for me. I went for the sprint, but I also went for the reload, so I didn't want to sprint around the corner without the reload. I hear him. I go for a tap sprint again, and look, this guy comes around the corner, and where's my gun? It's down. It's coming up. He's already got his gun raised, and my point fire is a little bit off to the right, and boom, I end up losing the fight. So that was the third and final mistake with that same guy, was if I had done exactly what I did earlier and kept my gun at the ready instead of tap sprinting and used those bushes that I was in for cover, I would have been able to at least get a much more fighting chance against that guy right there. For all I know, there was a 4th guy. I'm still not sure if that sniper was this guy or if it was a different guy, but at the end of the day, this was a super fun fight with this like 1v3, 1v4 situation. Like we said, everything about this fight was fun in the sense that it actually lasted more than 4 seconds. I didn't just get one tapped. Super unfortunate that my teammate did. This would have been a super fun fight to be calling out with a duo, maybe send one for cover and one to stay close. But this was a fight that's not in a normal position for Shoreline with an outnumbered, situation where I'm forced to use the skills that I'm learning in Tarkov to actually master this fight. And I was able to make some really cool plays, but still end up dying. So I hope that breakdowns like this are helpful in a few ways, helpful and encouraging in the fact that Tarkov is a game where you can be getting better and not surviving any more raids. There's a lot of squads in Tarkov, and if you used to die to the first guy every time, you need to count it as a win if you're taking out 1 or 2 of guys before you die. Even if your survival rate's not going up, you're still getting better at the game. And then breakdowns like this help me figure out what to do better in future situations like this. They help me with like the little things, like keeping my gun at head height if I'm moving, or when I'm pre-firing, really controlling that recoil, because if you pre-fire and your recoil goes up, they can walk right under your barrage of bullets. That kind of stuff really helps me inform how I act on the next fight. So that's kind of it. I really wanted to break this fight down because it was unique. It was fun. It wasn't just another, Labs green room massacre. It wasn't just another shoreline resort 4-man. This was a unique place to fight. I felt uncomfortable, and I loved that discomfort because this is what Tarkov is to me. I don't know how many there are. I've never fought here before. I've killed 1. I've killed 2. This is the kind of stuff that sells Tarkov for me. This fight, even though I died, made me want to play Tarkov for hours more after this. And I've been thinking about this fight ever since. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you can pick up a few tips or tricks from this video, and hopefully this encourages you to do the same thing and break down your gameplay so that you can figure out how you can get better at Escape from Tarkov. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you liked the video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel. All that stuff helps me out a ton. Like we said before, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. And if you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, our Discord community is an awesome place to be. That link is down below as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.